Hello, I'm Paul Wilkinson. I'm filming from Kathmandu, where I'm making a TV series on Nepalese shamanism and on ritual objects and on the festivals of Nepal. Today I want to show you a meditation that I do using a Tibetan short sword, and actually you can do this with other sorts of knives and things as well. So you can see this is an old Tibetan short sword, very beautiful silver scabbard and a yak horn handle. Then when I pull it out, now the blade is still old, but I'm pretty certain that the blade has been repaired and replaced. It should originally have had a groove coming up here, which is actually for the blood when you've cut something, and also you can see it's got a sort of welded mend here. If this were completely original, it would be many thousands of pounds. It's still a valuable object, but it's a very nice object. But you can see the quality of the blade is rough relative to the very fine work of the handle and the scabbard. So I also have a background in Tai Chi and Qigong and in meditation. So a meditation you can do with a knife or a short sword is to imagine that you're facing a very powerful enemy. So something which is maybe 10 or 100 times stronger than you, and that you have one moment, you have one opportunity, one chance. And this is a way really to gather your energy and to build your energy up so that you're in that present moment. It's not an exercise you should really do before sleep because it really wakes you up, but it's something that's really good to do if you need to gather your energy and focus your mind and focus your attention. So you stand in like the horse stance, so you open the hips and you sink your weight down into the ground. You have your feet parallel, so it's basically the Tai Chi stance. You open the hips so that and tuck the tail of the spine in. Breathe down into the belly, and then you focus all your awareness into the edge and the tip of the blade. So that everything. So if you imagine you have like a giant tiger about to leap at you, and of course the tiger is going to kill you, and you've got no chance. But you have one moment, maybe there's one place, maybe to hit its throat or something like that, where if you moved in the right way, you could flow past everything, and you would survive. But this is about gathering that energy. So along with this is pulling up from the perineum. That's the point between the anus and and your testicles or your vagina. So you pull the breath up from the perineum, up, and then circulate it round. So you've got this gathering the energy. And that brings the thoughts and awareness. It makes you very, very still inside, and it brings your focus up. So actually, that type of breathing is very good if you're going into an exam or you're going into an important meeting, because it brings a lot more focus into your brain, into your awareness. And then you imagine you're just waiting. So the key is to be both very focused and very relaxed. So you don't want to be tense when you're facing stuff, and this is actually really important when you're facing anything in life. So when you're facing a challenge, the natural thing for the body is to tense up because of being prepared with the adrenaline and so on. But actually what that's for is to give you a signal that you need to pay attention to something and to get the body ready for action. And there's something really paradoxical about the awareness of the awareness of the situation. Maybe it's a physical situation where you're in physical danger, or maybe it's a situation where you're under stress because you have an exam coming, and the body doesn't really, and the mind doesn't really distinguish between a mental threat and a physical threat. It deals with the same thing, deals with it in the same way physiologically. So you get adrenaline and the same sort of tension in the body. The blood goes away from the intestines when you're ready for action. And one of the difficulties in modern life is we have a lot of things which are causing us constant stress, and our body is ready for action. But the things that are stressing us aren't physical; they're actually mental. They're to do with needing to get to work on time and dealing with work colleagues and having business worries and things like that. So one of the things I'd like to sort of try and show you with this is when you draw. So firstly, I'm putting myself in a state where I'm grounding my energy. I'm sinking my breath down. I'm sinking my energy down into the ground. I'm relaxing as much tension out of my body as I can. So I'm doing that with the breath. So I'm actually breathing right down into the belly in the same way as you would if you're a child, the same way that you do when you're asleep. You're sinking the breath right down into the belly. And then you draw the breath up all the way up to the top of the head, and then down again, sinking all the way down, and with it sinking into the ground and allowing your tension to sink it down into the ground. So you're letting the tension go, you're letting your energy feel grounded and solid. And then where the relationship with the meditation with the knife is that you're aware of the focus. So in Buddhism also they have the symbol of Manjushri with his flaming sword, or the bow and arrow. And in that, the bow and arrow is a good example of that, where the tension of the bow being drawn and the arrow pointing. That's the tension of aiming at something, the tension of having your focused awareness in the point, and the tension of holding that focused awareness. But you don't want to keep running with a drawn bow. You don't want to hold your tension for too long. What you want is to focus on something long enough to know where your target is, to know where your goal is, and then you release the tension. So if you hold the tension too long, if you hold your anxiety too long, then you're going to hold it in the body and you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. So this meditation is very, very simple, very direct, where you focus your awareness into the edge of the blade, into the tip of the blade, and you imagine that you're facing some great challenge. So it doesn't actually have to be an enemy or something you're trying to defeat, but that's a very easy way of bringing the energy. If you imagine you've got something huge that you're dealing with that you couldn't possibly face, like a dinosaur about to jump on you, then it brings the energy properly, and it brings your focus, because you have one moment, one relaxed moment of action. So that's the paradox, how to hold the relaxedness and the single pointedness, and then to act. So it's the action is very, very important. So when you're focusing on things, when you're trying to achieve things, you need enough awareness in the difficulty, and then you know where you are. So maybe you have a business problem and you've got to get a certain amount of money in time, but you then want to put maybe 90 to 95% of your awareness into looking for solutions. And what I found is that the more time and awareness you put into the solution orientation, and the solutions like that cutting edge of the knife cutting through everything, the more easy it is to actually reach your goal, because you get what you focus on. If you focus on your worry, you get more of the worry. If you focus on the solutions, you eventually get the solutions. So this is a really simple exercise, and I recommend it. Hope that's useful and interesting to you, and see you again in another video.